Figure of speech is to literature what parts of speech is to grammar. Hello, welcome back. My name is Adeze and I teach the English language, and in today's lesson we're going to discuss figures of speech. So what is a figure of speech? A figure of speech is an expression or a statement that shouldn't be understood in the literal sense. In other words, you have to dig out the meaning of such expressions. One would wonder why you have to go through all that. Isn't that a lot of stress? The thing is, there is beauty and aesthetics in, discovering what someone has said. Sometimes when people use figures of speech, they are clearly expressing themselves. They are saying things the way they've seen it or the way they've perceived it. So anyone who masters how to use figures of speech very well has understood and can use the language almost like a native speaker. It can be used in day-to-day conversations. We have 5 major categories of figures of speech. So let's look at them. First, we have figures of comparison and contrast. Now here we have things like simile, metaphors made from comparisons or contrast. You compare two things that can be similar or not even similar, and you're able to make beautiful expressions. Next, we have figures of exaggeration and understatement. Here you exaggerate or understate things, and when you do these, you're able to elicit a certain feeling from your listener. Under this category, we have things like hyperbole. We also have things like euphemism. We have figures of sounds. These figures of speech make use of sounds. We have things like assonance, consonance. You play on sounds to elicit a particular feeling or effect. We also have figures that play on words, for instance, pun. So you actually play on words to get a certain feeling from your listener. And lastly, we have figures of errors. These ones deliberately go out of their way to be wrong. It could be a wrong idea, for instance, irony. It can also be a wrong, spelling or usage of a particular word. For the sake of this lesson, I'm going to talk about 5 figures of speech, one for each category of these figures of speech. First, we have the metaphor. Of course, it is a figure of comparison. It compares two unlikely things as though they were one. So you say, girl is a dove. So there is nothing similar. You can't begin to talk about a girl and a dove, but in this sense, you're comparing this girl to a dove because she's probably calm and quiet and peaceful. So that is metaphor. Next, I have hyperbole. When you talk about hyperbole, you talk about exaggeration, blowing things out of proportion. This morning, I ate a mountain of eba. I was so hungry I could eat a horse. That is exaggerated. There is no way anyone is ever going to eat a horse, no matter how hungry they are. For figure of sound, we have consonants. This is the repetition of the initial consonant sounds in an expression. So I can say, slowly and surely the ship set sail. In this expression, I have repeated this sound. We also have the play on words, and I have pun for that. This is where you play on words. Going 7 days without food makes 1 week. That's playing on your words. I promise to give you my soul instead of my soul. We also have a figure of speech, which of course is a figure of error, called spoonerism. In spoonerism, you deliberately switch the spellings of words just to create a humorous effect. So instead of saying a well-oiled icicle, you can say a well-oiled bicycle. Commit a blunder for the sake of humor. I know there are so many figures of speech, but time won't permit me to state all of them in this video. But you know most of them as well. So can you do me the favor of leaving some of these figures of speech in the comment section? Don't forget to tell me what you want to learn next, and I will be glad to talk about them. Again, my name is Adeze and I teach the English language. Love and